Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 207. And ladies and gentlemen, we finally made it to the greatest time of the year, March Madness, and a tradition like no other. Erich Godsey is with us today. I'm your host, Sam Godsey, joined by Tanner Dislin, and of course, reoccurring guest, Erich Godsey. Erich, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, it's the best time of the year. You said it. Feeling great.
Tanner?
I'm holding a bracket. I can't. I want to smell it. I want to hold it. I want to sleep with it. I want to do. I want to do everything with this bracket. I love it. And guess what? Right there, I was in it for the first time in a long time. Makes me happy. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to do a little recap on championship weekend, talk about those matchups, and then we're going to dive into the first round matchup. So let's dive right into it. Last Saturday, we saw the Big 12 championship. Houston drops to Arizona. Erich, what were your takeaways from this one?
Phenomenal game. Makes you really realize how good Arizona is, obviously being number one for so long, but it seems like they have all the pieces. And it was just an exciting game, other than the brutal, just disgusting court that the Big 12 decided that they thought was going to be this big smash hit, and ended up being where everyone hated it. So hopefully they've taken a realization of listening to players and their comments and thoughts, and we'll go back to a normal court.
Yeah. Yeah. They did bring back the hardwood.
At least it was
it
was wood.
It was still ugly as all hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, it was crazy. And look, everything Erich said. I mean, Houston is good, but Arizona is. I mean, three freshmen in the starting lineup, number one team in the nation for a majority of the year. Had a little bit of a slip up, which, I mean, really, how much of a slip up was it? Back-to-back games against the team that has maybe three of the most impressive wins with the National Player of the Year candidate who's now injured in Texas Tech, and then losing at Kansas on Big Monday, which they never lose that game. That never lose that game ever. So they're so good. Hard to have a tougher semifinal and then final game back to back. Took care of both. Obviously, we saw that incredible ending against Iowa State. I mean, Arizona's incredible, and it's nice to see that the selection committee is starting to take conference tournaments into selection.
Yeah,
into their seeding, because some of these games had a big impact on seeding.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about Arizona, the storyline around them all season has been the fact they don't take a lot of threes. They're not a bad 3-point shooting team. When they do take them, they do shoot rather well, but it seems to not be an issue. They went up against two of the best defenses, not only in the Big 12, but in the country, with Houston and Iowa State. Walked away with a big win, crowned Big 12 champs. Next, though, the Big East, in a shocking result, to say the least. St. John's just takes care of business over UConn. Tanner, I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, I didn't really see this one coming. I think my biggest takeaway is, what does it say about the quality of the conference that the regular season champion, the tournament champion, got a 5 seed?
Yeah.
It was just a down year across the board for the Big East. And I was hoping for a better game. Obviously, all of us were, but I mean, the Johnnies now beat UConn twice. Like I said, regular season and conference tournament champions at that 5 line. That could be a team that makes a little bit of noise, but at the same time, it's like, look at that gauntlet they got to play because of that 5 seed.
Yeah. Erich, thoughts?
Yeah, I think confusing is the best word, because when they played earlier in the year, they lost by 30, which it was one of those weird games where they didn't score a field goal for like 17 minutes. St. John's didn't, but you also looked at that conference championship and you're like, oh, UConn is going to be probably win by double digits at least. So yeah, that was a weird one. And then obviously they both get tossed in, the East, and obviously I'm sure we'll get into that, but just that whole side of the bracket is just absolutely insane with coaches and blue bloods, if you will. So overall, the Big East Championship was confusing to say the least.
Yeah, very confusing. Yeah, I think I don't have much to add. Was quite shocked, but let's go to the ACC now. Duke ekes one out against Virginia, 74-70. Eric, talk to me.
Yeah, it was closer than it would have been with who is it, Foster, their point guard, and then their other big man who they're supposed to get, later into the bracket if they make it that far. But Duke's still really good. I think Virginia is, surprises some people. I think a lot of people probably haven't watched a bunch of their games, but they're a very methodical team. A lot of people remember Virginia of just defense. They score 45 points and they're going to beat you by a couple. So it was probably closer than it should have been, but injuries are part of the game. And Cameron Boozer is still very, very good.
Indeed, he is.
Yeah, I mean, everything Eric said, I agree with. Virginia's better than you think they are. Now, part of the reason this game was so close, Virginia's rim protection was very good in this game.
7 blocks, 8 blocks by what's his name?
9 blocks.
Yeah.
9 blocks. Gosh, I don't even want to try this name. Off the bench.
Onions.
Yes, so 9 blocks off the bench. He was incredible. Obviously, with Duke, their best player loves to play around the basket. Got a bunch of his shots blocked as well. It kind of mucked the game up a bit, but in the end, Duke was too deep and ended up edging them out. But Virginia's better than you think they are. Duke, as you mentioned, limping into March, real interesting. And we mentioned that side of the bracket with all the blue bloods. That's where Duke is. So we'll see how this works, how this ends up with Duke's injuries. But it was a great game. But Duke, I mean, it just the class of the ACC and will be for a while.
Yeah. I kind of think Duke almost needed these last 2 games. They struggled against Florida State. Florida State had an opportunity to win that game. Controversial whether he should have taken that 3 or not. That's for another day. Ekes out a tough Virginia team. We kind of haven't seen Duke struggle all that much this year, and seeing them grind it out, it's like the saying goes, it's better to learn from a win than a loss. So impressive win by Duke, but Onieso with that defense was honestly the name of the game. But moving on to Sunday, a matchup a lot of people didn't have on their radar. I'm talking about the Ivy League Championship. Penn, coached by none other than Fran McCaffrey, leads Penn to the tournament 88-84. And I got one name for y'all, TJ Power. Absolutely unreal.
Yeah. Finished with 44 and 14. Obviously, former 5-star. Fran McCaffrey was hot on his tail out of high school. Wasn't able to get him because, of course, he wasn't. Obviously, ends up with Fran McCaffrey at Penn. He was incredible. All-time guard duo name. Both of them shoot 40%, 40+% from 3, by the way. Potential market on your remember that when you're filling out your brackets. But TJ Power and Cam Thrower.
Yeah.
All-time names. Guard duo, but Thrower added 19. The two of them combined for 63 of Penn's 88. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Obviously, the play of the game was the final play in regulation where Power just down 3 makes a big time shot to send it to overtime. Potential foul up 3. Who knows? Yale decided not to. Paid the price for it, but Fran McCaffrey's dancing, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want him to, but he's here, so it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Eric, got any thoughts on this one?
just a bucket getter, like you said, former 5-star, played at Duke. When you see that last second shot to send him into OT, you just see a confident shooter. So don't know how much they'll be doing in March Madness actually, but they'll be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, it was it. You thought there's no way anything tops Arizona versus Iowa State the way that game ended. This one was hand in hand combat with that one. This game was absolutely incredible. But Eric, I know you're begging to talk about your team, so let's dive right into it. Arkansas beats Vandy 86-75. How you feeling being an SEC champ?
Incredible. And to be honest, probably over the past decade, I've said that tournament really doesn't matter. It's what you do in March Madness, and I still fully believe that. If we get bounced in the first or second round, I'll still be upset. It'll be sweetened with an
It
SEC
sucks. I
tournament.
confirm it does suck.
Yeah. um, but man, the last 5 minutes, I didn't sit down. It was incredible. It's also the greatest feeling knowing that you have for sure the best point guard in the country, and I'd throw him up with one of the best players in the country as well. So that makes it extremely fun. You think every single shot that Darius Acuff is going to shoot is going to go in, which is never a feeling that I've had in any
I
sport
mean,
ever.
let's talk about the corner three where he thought he was fouled and just kind of threw it up, and of course it just goes in. That was one of
it's
the
it's
craziest shots.
it's unbelievable. And the shot before half where you know exactly what he's going to do and you can't stop it. And then you have role players around him that are making huge shots, and it's one of those things where if he can drop 30 while also, giving assists and his teammates like Billy Richmond and DJ Wagner and TB are hitting shots, we're a tough matchup. I mean, the biggest thing for us is, and that's been the story of the year, is foul trouble. Any game that we've lost, it's pretty much been our 7-man rotation gets in foul trouble. But this was an awesome game. The first time we played Vandy, we beat them by 30. We honestly thought if we, make it past Bama, which they lose, we'll probably play Florida, who easily handed it to us when we went to their place. But they beat Florida, and when it's on a neutral site, you really have no idea what's going to happen. So they were favored by 2.5, but to be able to come out with a trophy to bring back to Fayetteville and it was incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the story of this game was Darius Acuff, but I want to shout out a dude you forgot to mention. Malik Thomas is a big reason why um Arkansas got to the championship. Darius Acuff had a good game, but not his greatest. Malik Thomas stepped up, and that's what's scary about Arkansas this year is they got two dogs that can get you a bucket at any time.
Took the words right out of my damn mouth, Sam. They don't get to the final if not for Malik Thomas. They 29 in the semifinal. He was incredible. Only 29 points on 15 shots, 4 of 7 from deep. He was incredible in that game. Obviously, Acuff. I mean, and even in that Ole Miss game, I vividly remember there was Ole Miss was on a run. It was a baseline out of bounds. I think it might have been late in the shot clock too. Ends up inbounding to Acuff, defender all over him. Just turn around, jump shot, nailed it, stopped the bleeding, and obviously Arkansas needed every bit of it in this close game against Ole Miss, and then obviously on Sunday against Vanderbilt, the late push from Arkansas was on the back of Acuff. He's their guy. I mean, he's one of the best players in college basketball, as you guys have said. And yeah, Arkansas's got a ton of offensive talent, a ton of it, which makes them really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, I want to ask you this question. Obviously, you've known about Acuff this entire year. Seemed like he's flown under the radar throughout this season. It seems like he's getting the spotlight he finally deserves. Um, just in the last couple of weeks, how you feel about that? Knowing you had this guy in your back pocket, not a lot of people were giving him the respect he deserved.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year, I knew he was going to be really good, not even close to the level he's at. But I remember an exhibition game where probably one of the craziest step back threes to go into half or whatever, and he is just stone faced, just not celebrating, not it was just another day in the office. And as you know, he's a Detroit kid, so I remember talking to my buddies. I was like, man, this kid might be different. This kid might just have that it factor. And there's never been a moment where, he shies away from it or it seems too big for him. And I think that's just the craziest thing. Like his assisted turnover ratio is like 3. And for a freshman, that is truly unbelievable. So again, it's the coolest thing in the world to have somebody like that. But at the same time, you might never see another guy like that in a Hawk jersey. So it's living, game by game, moment by moment, and it's been pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's talks of him being Cal's greatest point guard. I mean, just being in that conversation with guys, I mean, obviously the top of that is Derrick Rose and John Wall, two of the best college basketball players we have seen in our lifetime at least. He is an elite company, and I'm excited to see what he does in March. But last game before we hop into the bracket where I'm looking forward to, we had the Big Ten championship to wrap it up. Purdue beats Michigan 80-72. Talk to me, Tanner.
Look, you talk about teams that are limping their way into March. Throw the Michigan Wolverines in that category. Obviously, it had been known for a while. Backup point guard had towards ACL. He's out for the rest of the year, so they're not getting him back. And look, Michigan in this run, things got really interesting for them. What was it? They ended up. Their first game was Ohio State beat them by 4, beat Wisconsin by 3, and then lost to Purdue by 8. I mean, that's less than convincing. If you want to go back further, they had to come into the big bad Carver Hawkeye Arena and play Ben McCollum's Iowa Hawkeyes and barely escaped with a 3-point victory. They've been a little shaky, and I think this game was definitely evident of that. And on the Purdue side of things, it's like, I'm just more, where the hell was this team? This is the preseason number 1 team. They have size, obviously. They have a great guard duo that can shoot. We know Braden Smith, one of the best distributors of the basketball. Trey Kaufman-Renn was supposed to be a huge part of this team. Kind of disappointing season. Like, the whole team disappointed. They had a bad stretch. And then this was the team we all envisioned. I mean, 4 of the 5 starters in double digits. This was the team we envisioned, that everyone envisioned, and they just never showed up this season until now. So this makes it really interesting and a tough team to navigate, I think, in March. But Purdue, obviously, preseason number 1 and Big Ten tournament champs. So
yeah. I kind of like this for Purdue. Obviously Big Ten champs, but like you said, they haven't really been they haven't lived up to the hype this season, and that kind of takes the target off your back going into March Madness. But Eric, you got anything on this one?
No, I agree with Tanner just in the sense of where has this been all year, and it kind of reminds me of UConn from a couple years ago when they were supposed to be. I think they were preseason number 1, if I'm not mistaken, and they were supposed to be incredible, and then they end up being like a 4 or a 5 seed and end up just running the table and winning it. So it's kind of one of those things where they talk about seniority and guys that have been there before and everything like that. And if they play like they did against Michigan, I don't know who's stopping them, man. I was surprised with the outcome. I thought, I think they played earlier, like maybe a couple weeks ago, and I think didn't Michigan win? Yeah, it won by 11. So I thought it was gonna be similar to that. But yeah, Purdue, I was pleasantly surprised with how much they dominated that Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, absolutely. Final thoughts on this one,
I
Tanner?
mean, just to put numbers to it, I mean, I'm looking at Purdue's schedule. Their final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. They were 6 and 7 in their final 13 games.
Yeah.
Figuring out the right time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they obviously play themselves to a 2-line. Part of what I said before about conference tournaments mattering this year, and it's a really tough team to figure out because of everything we just said. But
It does seem like they matter. It does seem like they matter, though, which is a good thing for tournaments. Like you said, moved to a 2 seed. Vandy was a 4 seed. Arkansas was a 5. Obviously, Arkansas wins and gets flipped up. So I'm glad. I'm for the first year, and
Arizona flopped on
yeah,
the number 2 and number 3 overall seed, and
yeah, seems like for the first time in a while they got it right, other than maybe a couple here and there. But
yeah, I feel like the bracket there wasn't like a huge controversy this year, which is very rare, unless you're, of course, Bruce Pearl. Um,
I
you
just
had to love that, right, Eric? I was
oh,
smiling ear to ear
I think
with.
there's a person on
I
Earth who
mean,
isn't an Auburn fan that didn't love it. I mean,
they're
first off, can we talk about the downgrade from Jay Wright to Bruce Pearl? And then Bruce Pearl going on this rant that Auburn didn't make it in Miami, Ohio. Did Eric? Do you think they got it right though?
yeah, absolutely. We can't be. That's the thing about the whole expanding the tournament. We can't let a 17-16 Auburn who played and beat 3 champions. Like that was his whole argument. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you beat Arkansas, but then when you played Arkansas at their place, you got worked. So yeah, of course there's this dominance of when you're playing at home and all that kind of stuff, anything can happen. But to say they deserve to be in it at a, regardless of the ties, 17-16, like what are we doing? What like that can't be a conversation.
yeah,
and said it better myself. I mean, just I understand you're fighting for your kid, whatever, but just give it up, man. Hang up the jersey. Stop this crusade. I also don't know if you know, like it was early on in the show. They asked, it was some generic question about it was the idea of upsets versus chalk or whatever, and Bruce Pearl's response was, it was chalky like last year when Auburn made the Final Four. That was the exact quote. It was chalky like last year when Auburn made the Final Four. I was like, you suck, dude. You absolutely suck.
yeah. I don't think he's gonna get the call back. Seth Davis with the softest tweet of all time, saying, it basically it took some balls to go on to that show knowing the situation. I'm like, dude, stop. But
One
shout
of the
out
more
John.
heroic things I've ever seen was Bruce Pearl going on television to talk college
Yeah.
basketball. I mean, I couldn't even describe how heroic it was.
But shout out John Rothstein, one of the best in the biz. Basically tweeted at Bruce Pearl saying, simply your Auburn Tigers weren't good enough. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use a little more colorful language, but shout out Rothstein. One of the best, along with John Fanta, of course. But let's dive into this bracket. We got the East region. One of the most interesting regions, as you mentioned, Eric. The Battle of the Blue Bloods, a lot of big names here. Obviously, Duke being that one, UConn two, Michigan State
Gauntlet.
three,
Gauntlet.
4, Kansas 5, St. John 6, Louisville, UCLA in there too. So, talk to me about a matchup you are looking forward to in that first round.
Well, I'd say Ohio State TCU is, I mean, always 8-9s seem to be, great matchups, obviously, very close teams. And then I think whoever makes out of that, I mean, they'll most likely play Duke, which should be a great game as well. So that's definitely one that I am looking forward to. And before going too deep into that game and that matchup, again, you mentioned it, but it's just a gauntlet. Duke gets the number 1 overall seed, and they're rewarded with what, 5? Is it 5 Hall of Fame coaches? Most
Yeah.
likely, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, just truly, truly unbelievable. But yeah, the 8-9 is definitely the one that stood out the most to me for this first round.
Fair matchup.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That pick took me a while. I'm gonna go my first kind of bells going off of potential upset. 11 seed South Florida, 6 Louisville. Louisville has been big time roller coaster. ACC, we talk about the quality of that conference year over year in recent years here. I think things can get real interesting for the Cardinals, for Pat Kelsey and the Cardinals here against South Florida. I'm looking at that game as one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's one I have circled in this region. Mikael Brown did not play in the ACC tournament. See how he recovers if he'll be playing South Florida. Highlighted by Joseph Pinion, former Hog, Eric. He can shoot lights out. So I have that one circled. But as we mentioned, there's so many potential matchups further along in the tournament that can be the best of the best, Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. But let's go down to the South.
Real quick
go
before
ahead.
we move on, actually, I got a little note here for you. I'm looking at this, I'm filling this out, and I see what we talked about, the names, the brands, the coaches, all that stuff. Then I see the potential of a Duke Michigan State Elite Eight matchup. I had to do a little research here. Since 2018, Duke and Michigan State have both been in the tournament 6 times. 4 of those 6 times they've been in the same region.
Wow.
It seems like every single year I'm staring down the barrel of a Duke Michigan State matchup.
Yeah.
And every single time I think of the team that ended Zion and Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett. But isn't that I just had to mention that is insane.
Yeah.
How many times have they met in the 4? That'd be crazy too. If it's been like 3 out of the 4, that would be wild.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I'll get working on how much.
Because then if it's like 4 out of 4 or 3, like that's even crazier too.
4 out of 6 years they've been in the same region, and like the potential matchups in this region, potential St. John's, Kansas, UCLA, UConn, even. I mean,
yeah.
It's a fun one. It's a fun region.
It is a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. UCLA can be interesting. Seeing Donovan Dent. Did he get injured or?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so seeing his health, lot of questions. I mean, obviously with Kansas, was Darren Pearson, Jesus. Darren Pearson can do. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but it definitely is. But what's he gonna do? Is he gonna drop 20 against Cal Baptist and be like, all right, that's good enough for me? Because it's very possible. It's very possible that will happen. But let's go down
real quick. I do have an answer. Of the 4 times they were in the same region, they've met twice. So
okay,
that was the 2019 Elite Eight, and then the 2022 round of 32. So,
wow, yeah. I would have thought it would be a Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. Like for sure, the fact that they met second round is crazy.
Yeah.
But let's move down to the South region. Tanner, what are you looking at here? You looking at that 8-9 matchup again?
I mean, of course, because the 9 seed is your Iowa Hawkeyes. I got to be honest. I mean, obviously, you look at the draw. I wonder if things would be different if Iowa in the Big Ten tournament rolled over and died against Ohio State. They were down at one point, I think, 16 in that game. Ohio State, as we mentioned, went on to play Michigan really tough, lose that game by 4. I don't know if that is enough to push Iowa from a 10 to a 9. We talked about many times. I want Iowa on that 10 line. I want Iowa on that 10 line. Iowa versus St. Mary's would have been a dream matchup for me on that 7-10 line. But obviously, it doesn't work out. Play Clemson. Hope you like defense in that game. Iowa and Clemson both north of 300 in pace in the country, so very low scoring defensive battle there. But another one I'm looking at, Nebraska ball. This is an interesting spot because Nebraska has since July 5th or July, what am I talking about? Since January 5th, have beaten 2 have beaten 2 tournament teams since January. That's over 2 months. They have beaten 2 2 tournament teams, one of which was Iowa when they were at home and Iowa sent them to overtime. Nebraska is not playing its best basketball right now. Troy the Sun Belt champion. Alarm bells are ringing there as well. You'd have to think Nebraska doesn't treat this game like a normal 13-4 would, with Nebraska's history of never winning a March Madness game. You have to think they'd be a little sharper on that end to be the first Nebraska team to win a game, but I don't like the draw for Nebraska. That's a game that I'm looking at, Sam. I'm thinking maybe things can get a little wonky.
Yeah. Eric?
This region also is quirky. Like you said, Clemson, Iowa, very similar teams, very slow pace. So you never know what's going on in that game. The Nebraska-Troy one also was one that I circled as a fun one just because I saw an interview of a Nebraska player saying, we're just going to play our game. We're not thinking about it being the first tournament win. And I'm like, as soon as you said it, I know you're thinking about it. And to think that you're not going into that game juiced up being the first one, you're crazy. So you never know with college kids and how that will affect their mindset. But UNC VCU is one that is a spicy one. VCU shoots a high clip from three. They're a fun team. And UNC with, I don't even know, is he playing? No, he's done, right?
He's done.
So they're definitely not better without him. They're still a decent team that can run the floor, play fast. But you just don't know what you're going to get, I feel like, with this North Carolina team. So that's a game that I think is going to be a fun one. And again, those 6-11 matchups, you never really know what's going to go on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no big matchups that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a fun one. One to keep your eye out on though, St. Mary's A&M. A&M likes to run, get up the floor. St. Mary's likes to do the complete opposite. The clash of two philosophies at its finest. That's another one I'm looking at. But anything? Go ahead.
Another one. It seems like every year, St. Mary's they're gonna be on that 7-10 line. They're gonna play a super athletic SEC team that gets up and down the floor. And it's a night matchup for St. Mary's. But again, just like I can't help but look into the potential matchups if seeds hold or whatever. I mean, we could possibly get a rematch for the third time of Vanderbilt, who just blew the doors off of Florida in the conference final. We could very well have that rematch here. Illinois, Houston, like that would be awesome. Illinois got to get past mean Fran McCaffrey. those two have a history. I don't know, those staffs aren't really fighting each other. So this is I think Eric used the right word. If the word of the East region is just like might and strength and branding, and just when you think of college basketball, that's what you think of. This one's a little wonky. And at the end of the day, I mean, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, and Fran McCaffrey are all in the same region.
Yeah. Could make for some interesting headlines. But Eric, remind me again, who was the Vandy stud that was just hooping in that SEC championship? Some Miles, I believe.
Yeah. Which I don't know if him and their point guard, who is all defense. Yeah, I don't know if I think combined they were like 4 of 17 when they first played us. I mean, it happens. There's off games, but he was a difference maker in the SEC championship game. So
there's one possession, Duke Miles.
Yeah.
Where he split the defenders with a spin move and then went to the reverse one, and then Darius Acuff goes down and pulls off some Fugazi shit. But I mean, but Vandy, man, like those 3 guards, Miles, Tanner, and Nickel, really shoot the ball. So can Miles. Like they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. But let's head over to the West as we see Arizona taking the 1 seed, Purdue sliding in at that 2, Gonzaga 3, Eric's Hogs at 4 and 5, Wisconsin. Eric, how are you feeling about the Hogs matchup?
I like it. Hawaii has their best player is a 7-foot senior, which we don't have the best bigs, which is frustrating. But I think athleticism in this game should help us for sure. I hate the round of 32 matchup that we might be playing against Wisconsin. And I think a lot of people hate it just because of how much fun and good both of these teams have been playing and want them not to necessarily match up in that next round. Um, but look, it's March. It's March Madness. You got to win tough games versus tough opponents. It's not just going to be a cakewalk for anybody. So one game at a time. Unfortunately, we have to go to Portland, Oregon, and we didn't get blessed with going to Oklahoma City, which would have been phenomenal for Hog fans. But last time we made it to the Elite Eight, we were pretty much living in the West Coast. I think it was in San Fran for 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
gotta play tough games, tough teams. That's just part of it.
Well, in regards to the first matchup, Hawaii. I don't know if you've
Yep.
heard, but they run a very unique defense. No help defense is what they run.
That is incredible.
Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas might go
Yep.
for 40 each.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's going to be an interesting storyline if they stick with that, because that could be a huge mistake.
I mean, if that's what they want to go with, then that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
sure.
That is money. That's incredible. And if it's something that they double up, go for it. That leads to a alley-oop for Ewan, for Billy, for TB set up for three. I mean, that's the thing. You have shooters everywhere. The biggest thing for us is just stopping their big 7-foot monster. But again, hopefully quickness and athleticism can get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, a couple notes specifically on that one. Hawaii was a team, and kind of like, let's see that matchup. They can make noise. Saw the matchup. Nope, not gonna happen. They do not have anyone that can hold Darius Acuff's jockstrap, so I don't think that will. I don't like the matchup for Hawaii. Now, if they were going against Nebraska, maybe. Sorry, but I don't like that matchup for Hawaii at all. The potential of Arkansas, Wisconsin. I mean, as someone who's, I wouldn't say neutral because I hate Wisconsin with every fiber of my being, but God, that game excites me. That potential there. But also, yeah, like why would the committee reward SEC champion Arkansas at Oklahoma City when number 10 seed Missouri is right there, and that's who we're going to reward?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Just a guy I'm looking forward to seeing, AJ Debinsa with BYU. I mean, can he carry this team along in this tournament? That's going to be the storyline. I think he should be over Peterson, in my opinion, but that's a conversation for another day. But BYU is a team I'm excited to watch in this tournament.
No doubt.
Shall we move on to the Midwest? Or y'all got anything else in the West?
No, I like to play with BYU, or just their matchup regarding NC State or Texas. I think Texas has just been so up and down this year, so I don't even know if they make it out against NC State. But the other one was Wisconsin. You had mentioned with High Point. I loved High Point going into this. The fact that they're going up against a just hot Badgers team is so tough. Yeah. It's such a tough matchup.
It's like at High Point, what do? They play fast, they shoot the hell out of the ball, and what do? They play a Big Ten team that does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But everyone on Wisconsin plays in the Big Ten, and everyone at High Point plays at High Point. Like, it's just it's just a nightmare where it's just they play the same style.
Yeah. It's that the four individual teams right there is going to be a lot of interesting storylines of how that plays out. But let's go down to the Midwest as we see Michigan sliding in at 1, 2 Iowa State, 3 we have Virginia, 4 Alabama with some big headlines today. Texas Tech and Tennessee rounding out your top 6. But Eric, talk to me about a potential matchup you're looking forward to.
Yeah, this region is just weird to me because you have Texas Tech, who was dominant with Toppin. Obviously, he goes down, so you're kind of unsure. The Bama team has been a 2 seed before, a 1 seed. They shoot lights out, but then they have off games. Tennessee has had up and downs. You really don't know what this Virginia team can do. They kept it close with a hurt Duke team, so you don't know if they're that good. Kentucky's an off year. I think that's my biggest matchup from this is I think Santa Clara can get it done. That's a fun matchup. They play similar. They're high shooting. Um, it's just a weird region to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had two teams circled as like the ones that intrigued me, and you said them both: 5 seed Tech, 6 seed Tennessee. Um, Texas Tech, who knows? As you said, loads of talent, and without Toppin, they still went to Hilton and beat Iowa State. Like that is a team that can still play.
Yep.
Obviously, played them again in the conference tournament. That didn't go well.
Yeah.
They added another injury on the glass LED whatever the hell court they tried to do. So like the health of Texas Tech, obviously one guy not coming back, but that team has the ability to shoot the lights out of the ball and get hot and really beat anyone, as they showed thrice this year that they can literally beat anyone. But seems like the lows can be pretty bad too. And then Tennessee, a team that has a really good player in Amon, but like just a team that I just can't figure out throughout the year. They had like the last time we saw them, they were playing a good Vandy team, and like they didn't get blown out. They played with them. So that's to me where I think the interesting what's interesting in this region are those 2 seeds there, because the top 2, and then we mentioned Michigan as well, obviously limping in and not playing great in the Big Ten tournament. We'll see how that goes. And Alabama with the headlines.
Yeah. Who was Holloway got arrested this morning
Over a pound.
For a pound.
It's
just
insane.
I'm sure he'll miss the first half of the Hofstra game. So don't expect anything there, but very unfortunate timing. But anything else on the tournament as a whole as we head into the first 4 in Dayton, the first round? How y'all feeling?
I think the what is it? Texas? Who did I just say? Texas and
Texas NC State.
I think that'll be a fun one. Again, Texas has played so up and down this year. And then with SMU and Miami of Ohio, I don't know. There was an argument with Miami of Ohio, and it's like, okay, if they would have scheduled at Michigan State and at Texas Tech and lost by 20, it's like, does that make it look better going 29-2 rather than 31-0? It's like, no. So I don't know what to make of them. Again, with SMU, I think that's a toss-up too. So other than the other 16 plans, I don't have any other comments on those guys.
Yeah.
Hope they play really well.
Yeah, I think just themes of the bracket, which we've already mentioned, emphasis on conference tournaments, which is a great thing. How many times in years past have we heard the committee chair get up there and be like, "Oh yeah, this field was finalized, Sunday morning in the Big Ten tournament," which is always finishes maybe a half an hour before the selection show. They just don't care about. So seeing some of that really have an effect on seeding is good to see. And now I do think the committee had it a little bit easier this year than prior years, but anytime where our biggest debates are, oh, maybe this team should have gotten a 4 instead of a 5, that's where we want to be, and not who's been left out and who's actually in the field versus who's been left out. So I don't think it was necessarily the hardest bubble to negotiate, but I think the committee did a very nice job, and shout out Miami of Ohio. That's a hot topic throughout the season in college basketball, and it came to a head when they lost to under 500 UMass, but obviously they did enough to get in the field, and now you didn't win your conference tournaments, so now you're in the at-large. You got to play in. You got to prove you belong here. So I love what the committee did there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as we ridicule them in years past, got tip the cap when they get right, and I think they did this year.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
But it's finally here. Little appetizer Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the big dance starts Thursday. A little bit of programming update. We're gonna be going live twice this week. We're gonna do well today. We'll drop this immediately after wrapping up, and then we'll go live on Saturday morning after the first round, and then again Monday night. As we recap the round of 32, and then we'll adjust from there. But Erich, you're reoccurring guest all the time for this special week, and we appreciate you having you on, making time in your schedule to join us tonight.
Absolutely. It's always a blast talking ball. It's the best time of the year, and time to fill out those brackets and yeah, hopefully find a good winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Any last thoughts there?
I can't say anything that hasn't already been said. Nothing better. Watching basketball from your desk at work, waking up at 11 a.m. and having meaningful basketball on your screen, not just some random game. It's just, there is truly, honestly,
Nothing better is right. But that's going to wrap up episode 207. Obviously, is all about March Madness and the bracket we finally have in our hands. But you can follow the podcast at crunchtime_pod at TikTok, Instagram, and X at crunchtime_pod. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell on YouTube, Crunch Time with the N3260. But the clock has run out on this one. We'll see you on the next one on Crunch Time.
I'll see you.